Alright, in this video we are going to talk about how we use various countdown timers here at First Light South Portland Church of the Nazarene. There are three kinds of countdown timers that we use. The first kind is a prop that shows up down at the bottom of the screen on the announcement slide. The other is going to be a video, a countdown video. Sometimes the pastor will provide a video with a countdown timer on it. Typically those videos are about 5 minutes in length, and so we're going to show you how to make the appropriate adjustments for that. And the other kind is going to be a countdown timer that you can build within Propresenter, and we will show you how to do that. Alright, so the very first thing that we want to see is this countdown timer in the announcement slides. So as you will notice here, it is not showing up on these slides here, and that's because it's an element within Propresenter called a prop. The props reside one layer above the announcement layer, and they kind of live right there. And so this is a special prop that we built, and it is automatically set up within this macro here to overlay down here at the bottom of the screen. Now right now you'll see that service begins in 600 minutes, it says. So what you'll need to do when you come in on Sunday mornings is come over here, click on this timer button here, and you'll notice that we have a count to time timer here. And this timer is built within Propresenter, and it's set to count down to 10 a.m. And so when you come in Sunday morning at 9 o'clock and you click on this, it will start counting down from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. If we do it now, we'll click it and you'll see it's 1400 minutes away from 10 a.m. But anyhow, you'll come in at on Sunday morning and you'll go to this icon here. You'll go to the count to time timer, and then you'll just click play on that, and that will automatically start it here on these slides. Alright, and then the next kind of timer that I want to talk about is the videos. And so the standard procedure is we let this the announcements play before service, and then at 2 minutes before service begins, it switches from the small timer down here on the bottom, giving people as much opportunity as possible to see the various announcements, but it switches from this small timer down here at the bottom to the larger timer here. Alright, so as you can see, there's an issue. If we are starting from the announcements and we go from 2 minutes here and we click into the 5-minute video provided, then that of course is not going to line up. And so what we need to do is adjust the 5-minute timer to be a 2-minute timer. Okay, and so this is how we do that. Go ahead and right click on the video, go to Inspector, and then within the inspector you have these little controls right here. The one you want to grab is this one here, and that is where the video will start. And so you can just drag that over. So it says 2 minutes, and then so that way whoever's operating it will know that this is a 2-minute timer. Over here you're going to click to set to current frame, and then that is going to change the thumbnail to 2 minutes. Now sometimes in these videos there is extra space at the end. So you see here it hits 0, but then there's all this space here. So another thing you can do if needed is drag the end there, and that's going to automatically save. And so now this cut the video down from the 5 minutes here to this section here, and you can just close that out, and you'll see there that video is set. Now I'm going to delete this one because I have already had that set up from previous. Now another thing you're going to want to make sure on this the first slide of the countdown video presentation here is that this macro here is on it, and this is the countdown macro. It should always be there. If for some reason it's not there, it's simple, you just drag and drop from over here. But what that does, it clears out this announcement layer, because the announcement layer will stay on unless there's a command telling it to go away. And so if you're on the announcements, as you can see over here, and you just click onto another slide, it's not going to change anything. You have to click on a slide that has a command on it that says clear the announcements. And so the first slide here in the countdown video has that command on it within that macro. Alright, but we still have another issue. Because this timer here, this small one, it is going to automatically count down to 10 a.m. And so if someone's not paying attention, it could go over the 2 minutes, and maybe it's going to say a minute and a half left or whatever, and then you click onto this, and then it goes from a minute and a half to 2 minutes. And we don't necessarily want that to happen. So to prevent that, you set up what is called a calendar. And then what the calendar does, it puts a command within the system that says, at this particular date, at this particular time, go to this particular slide. To set a calendar, you go up here to View, and you go down and you click on Calendar. This window here will pop up, and you see here there is a calendar set. And now this one you can just keep there and just change it accordingly. And so to set it, you just choose the date of Sunday, which this particular Sunday coming up will be the 22nd. So you go here, you put 22nd, and then you're going to make it 2 minutes before, because it's a 2-minute timer. If it was a different length timer, of course you would adjust the clock accordingly here. So on October 22nd at 9:58, this is what you want it to do. You want it to go to this playlist, October 22nd, and to that slide. Okay, and so all of these steps are important. You have to make sure the Sunday is correct. You have to make sure that the time is correct, and the actions. It might say countdown video, but you do have to go in and make sure it's the countdown video of the right presentation, because if it's set to a different Sunday, it is going to change the slides that you're clicking, and you're going to click on the wrong week slides. It'll have the wrong songs and all that. So you go and make sure it's the right week's playlist, and then countdown video. And so now on Sunday at 9:58, it will automatically go into this slide. Now another thing you can do on these slides, the video slides, is set a go to next timer. That's what this number here is. And what that does is when you click on that slide, it sets a timer. It sets a timer here, and it counts down to whatever time you tell it to, and at the end of that, it's going to automatically go to the next slide. And so you want to make sure that the next slide is a slide that you want it to go to. So in this case, it will be the welcome slide. And so to set that timer, you right click on the slide, you choose go to next timer, and then you set the duration. I set the duration for this for 123 seconds. The reason is because this particular countdown video has a little bit of music that trails off past the time, and so at 123 seconds, it will automatically go to the welcome slide. Now the other kind of timer is the timer that you can build within Propresenter. This is the timer that I prefer to use. It's the most simple. And so to do that, you'll have to have a blank slide. I've already added one here. And you go to Edit, and it's going to give you the text box. If for some reason there's not a text box, you just go up here to the plus symbol, you click on Text, and there it is. And then over here on the right, you click on Linked Text, and you go to Choose Type, and you go to Timer, and then you go to Count to Time. And so what that has done is it linked this text box here to the countdown that counts down to 10 a.m. Now when you set that up, another thing you want to check is what you want it to display. And so right now it's set to hours, minutes, seconds, and like milliseconds. We don't need all that, so we're going to say no hours, yes minutes, yes seconds, and no milliseconds. Alright, so now this this text here, it's super small, so we're going to have to crank that up, make it as big as you want. The size will be dependent on the background image that you have. And then you can go in here and you can add, outline. You can add a shadow if you want to. All of that sort of thing. You can change the color, whatever you need to do to make it work best with whatever background you're using. Other things you can do is add a text box and say like service will begin in, or whatever wording you want to put there. I'm going to delete that for now. We're going to center that. And we will just throw this background on it. Okay, so this is how this works. So you've got your service is starting, you've got your countdown timer down here, and now since this timer is linked to that same timer that's being used here, whenever you click it, whenever you go to it, it is going to match. So here, let's add the countdown macro so that way all the correct commands are there. And so you'll see 14:01:50 and it's counting down and it matches. And that's the reason I prefer to use this timer over videos, is because no matter when you click, it is going to match. And so if you aren't paying attention and you don't get it at exactly 2 minutes, you can click on here and the time is going to match. Alright, and that has been everything you need to know regarding countdown timers within Propresenter. Just remember there are the three kinds that we use. The one is the little prop here on the announcement roll. That is built into this macro here. Perhaps in another video I will show how that all works. The second is countdown videos. Countdown videos take a little bit more work to make sure they are operating correctly. So you have to make sure the length is correct. So bring it down to the 2 minute. Of course, always make sure this macro is there, and set up a calendar so it switches at the right time. And then if you really want to, you can set up the go to next timer, and you can do that with this sort of timer as well. And then of course the best kind, the one that is just kind of built into the system.